God believes, yes he does. God believes, oh yes he does in you. And that's why you made it through every storm in your life. See, God was protecting you. Oh, Lord. And whatever he promised, I know, he's gonna see you through. See, God believes, yes he does. God believes, yes he does. God believes, yes he does. He believes in you. Oh, yes he does. You shall prevail. I know if God is for you, he won't let you fail. In the midst of every storm, I know you shall prevail. Oh, God is for you. Don't be discouraged. He won't let you fail. In the midnight hour, when nobody is around, just know that God, he is faithful. Yes, he is. And he won't let you fail. Oh, you made it through every storm. You made it through every trial. I know you shall prevail. God is for you. God is for you. And he won't let you fail. You made it. You made it. You made it. You made it through every storm. There was God protecting you. Oh, yes, he was. He was protecting you all along. And whatever he promised, oh, you keep your hands in God's hand. He's gonna see you through. Cause God believes, yes he does. I know we're in a crisis right now, but God believes. When he needs somebody to stand up and testify of his goodness, he brings circumstances around in our lives so we can stand on his word and let the whole wide world know God believes, that he believes in you and me. Oh, yes, he does. I don't care, no matter what the world says. In his word, he said he'll never leave you. He said he would never forsake you. You keep your hands in God's hands. God believes in you. Oh, yes, he does. My God, he believes. He believes. He believes in you. You keep the faith, but know that God believes. He believes in you. Oh, yes, he does. He believes. He believes in you. Oh, yes, he does. He believes. He believes in you.
Welcome to our contemplation and devotional session today. I'm so glad you're here because I believe today's chat is absolutely powerful. It's full of wonderful concepts. It's full of shift and shifting perception. It's a wonderful way for you to start your week. Sunday is typically, well, it's known as the first day of the week. And what a great way to get your sun light, that sun day, starting this week. I'm telling you, if you will allow these next few moments can be moments of destiny for you. In your destination, in your journey through and on your way to whatever it is that you're called to expand your Dharma, to live your space, to make sure that none of your music is unplayed before you leave here, that you've put it all on the field. You and you alone have the power to rise above the situations and circumstances that you face and to get into that space of your fully developed calling. And I believe that you have that power within you. And we just simply want to help to bring it out. That's really all I'm here to do. I'm not here to teach you anything. Honestly, I'm here to facilitate and influence an environment that gives you the ability to find your divine path for you personally. And guess what? Your soul is going to meet you on your path. That soul's harbor, that soul's space and place is going to meet you on your path, because the soul, the pure presence, the power, consciousness, divinity, it walks on every path. It's just waiting for you to find your pathway and to walk that out. Let's take a few moments, if you would. Maybe just rest back in the seat that you're seated in, or lying down on, or maybe the floor you're seated on, wherever you might be. Maybe you're on the treadmill, walking, jogging. Maybe you're at the gym, driving, whatever it is you're doing. If you're driving, if you're on the treadmill, I would suggest you don't close your eyes. Stay engaged with what you're doing physically. Wouldn't want you to have physical injury. But I am going to ask you to take a moment. Receive a deep breath and give it back. Receive another deep breath and give it back. Acknowledge this moment. Let the love that is power, love is the only power, really, it's the only force. Let the loving awareness that you are rise, rise, rise during this time. As we always pray each week, I pray, Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Spirit of truth, take from me what I don't need. Bring to me what I do need. My whole being is surrendered. And I know it's the truth that is going to make me free. I honor this space and place. I even honor the pace at which I am moving on this pathway. And I say thank you, God. Thank you, Divine Presence, for guiding and directing, for leading me in the path of righteousness that is mine to walk out. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you. I surrender. I surrender to the loving awareness, to that pure consciousness, to that divine presence that dwells within me, through me, and as me. I honor this space. And once again, I say thank you, thank you. And so it is. And so it is. All right, let's get into our devotional. Look, we're continuing in this book from Pastor D.E. Paulk. Someone asked a couple of weeks ago, what book are you reading? It is this book, Fully Awake. It's a powerful devotional series, 100 devotions by my wonderful friend, one of the best human beings, most powerful New Thought spiritual leaders, interfaith leaders in the whole world, Pastor D.E. Paulk, Spirit and Truth Sanctuary, Decatur, Georgia. This brother right here is powerful. And I'm so honored to call him friend and to be called friend by him. And I'm honored to be on this journey with such an enlightened, elevated soul. So we're going to get into chapter 9. It's called Day 9. So if you have a copy of this, if you don't know how to get it, just look up Spirit and Truth Sanctuary on Google. Just Google Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. You can find everything that they have to offer. You can also find this book, as well as other books, on Amazon, simply by going to Amazon and put in Fully Awake, D.E. Paulk, and you will locate it there. And I encourage you to get it. And you can go through this in 100 days. If you want to read each one of these every single day, we're just taking the time to go through these essentially in 100 weeks. Yeah, that's almost 2 years that it will take us to get through this. But I'm totally fine with it if you are. And I just like to dig into these a little deeper. I'm the kind of person that when I read, I don't typically I will sit with a chapter, sometimes just even a phrase. I'll sit with it and allow it to ruminate within me, just sort of meditate on what may be coming through, not just from the author of the book, the author of the statement, but also just whatever. What is Spirit saying to me about this? Sometimes just a line will shift my whole consciousness. You know, I've gotten so many ideas. That's why I say about the Tao Te Ching. You can read it in an afternoon, but you can study it for a lifetime. And even though you may think that you can evolve past the philosophies of Tao Te Ching or past the philosophies of the Bible or past, I don't know, we don't ever evolve past Tao, but you could always evolve past whatever that principle may be in that space. The principle gives room. That's why I say to you, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to facilitate and hopefully influence an environment for you to fully develop into your authentic self. We will hopefully evolve, take what we get in this space today, get involved with it enough to evolve past the initial and the initiation of whatever that thought may be. Remembering that every thought originates from somewhere, but not every thought is spiritual. Some of the thoughts that we have are just installed beliefs that we've been given, and often limited beliefs and conditions. That's why even when I read the Tao, one of the reasons that I read it on a regular basis is because it's not, these are not principles that we stop with. These are principles that spur us on, that inspire us. It's more than information, it's inspiration. And inspiration is to be in spirit. And when you're in spirit, you're always expanding. I have this statement that I have made repeatedly. If you get involved with spirit, you will evolve along with spirit, which is going to keep you in a constant state of growth and unfolding, a constant state of blooming where you have been planted. If you are connected to presence, you will continue to move. You know, it's just like a drop. If a drop disconnects from the ocean, it just becomes a speck. But if that drop stays connected to the ocean, it will stay a part of the most powerful and irresistible force on this planet, the ocean. When you stay connected to love, you stay connected to God, to presence, that power flows with you. It's when we disconnect from it that we have a tendency to lose our power. This is one of the reasons we do this week after week. Stay connected, so that we stay connected to me. The only reason you're even connecting to me is so that I can simply be a reminder, a pointer back toward your source from which everything emanates. And that's the power. That's even the power of Tao, the power of God, the power of the Bible in anyone's life. The power of any book is only to inspire you to become your completed, fully functioning divine self. You are ultimately the power of divinity in this planet. In fact, the only way for people to see the personality of God is to see you. So what element of God are they seeing in you? Ooh. All right, let's get into this. I love the title of this already. Attitude, aptitude, altitude. Let's read the affirmation. My attitude, not just my aptitude, determines my altitude. I will protect my inner kingdom by maintaining my joy and by keeping my peace. No one can change my attitude but me. This week, I will fly above the storm of worry and rise above the turbulence of anxiety. I will learn to let go. I will raise the vibration of those around me by maintaining mine. Without even going any further, we could stay right there. I will raise the vibration of those around me by maintaining mine. Here's the deal, always the deal. Nothing on the external, no one in the external has power over you that you don't give to them or to it. You are the power, and you are the one who can decide what your attitude, your aptitude, and your altitude will be. Aptitude is essentially qualifications, the abilities that you might have. But attitude is even more important. And Pastor D.E. says this, I have often been amazed that the most successful people I have either met or studied are not always the most qualified. Many times these powerful leaders don't possess a high level of aptitude. However, they own a contagious, positive attitude. The result is they reach the great heights of altitude. He goes on to say, my wife, Brandy, my wife is a CPA and has worked for several Fortune 500 companies. During the interview process, she has discovered that the most qualified person doesn't always land the job. Many times, the candidate hired is actually the most likable and carries an attitude that helps to foster a positive, productive, and peaceful work environment. Unfortunately, there are times when a person's qualifications disqualify them as they carry with them a know-it-all attitude. They smugly allow their higher aptitude to place them into a lower altitude. How many great athletes never reached the professional ranks because they were uncoachable? How many phenomenal musicians never reached their potential because no one could tolerate working with them? There is a healthy balance of being knowledgeable without becoming a know-it-all. There's an old church cliche, and I kind of like this one. God doesn't always call the qualified. God doesn't always call the qualified. Sometimes God qualifies the called. We need to be qualified, but more importantly, we need to maintain the right spirit. Let me say this to you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with knowledge. There's nothing wrong with qualifications, certifications. Aptitude is important. It's great. Knowing stuff is great. But attitude is more important than aptitude. How you handle and deal with the things you know will often determine the altitude with which you fly in this world. The truth is, inspiration is as important as information. I've said to you before, information or too much information without enough inspiration will lead to the inflammation of your self and soul. Many people are inflamed with their ego because their attitude sucks. You're not supposed to say sucks, you're supposed to say, because their attitude sucks. The attitude is going to determine your altitude far more than your aptitude. I want to be qualified for the things I'm doing. I don't mind certifications. There's nothing wrong with having information. But you need to remember, when you have information, that means you have the ability to operate in form. But the question is, how much inspiration or spirit do you inject into your life and the way you do things? If you believe you can do something, you probably can. But if you believe you can't, you most assuredly will not. No matter how much information you have, if your attitude does not adjust to a higher level of thinking, you'll never be able to solve the problem of moving beyond where you are right now. You cannot solve a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. So your attitude, how you come at a circumstance, how you perceive a situation, will often determine how you receive it, how you conceive it, and what you birth into this world. Your attitude counts. Your happiness, your joy, your peace is determined by your attitude about life. How are you perceiving circumstances and situations? It's just like looking back over your life, whatever traumas you've experienced, whatever pains you've experienced, whatever hurts you've experienced. Listen to me when I say this, please. These things that happened were real to you, and they affected your physicality and your mentality. Now, what will you do with what has transpired? And I know that some things take a space of time to heal. But have you ever noticed that when you wound your physical body, it quickly heals unless something is wrong with the body? And then if something is wrong with the body, what do? You need to get medication so that you can help the body's immunity to heal that wound. Because if that wound stays open very long, what happens? Not only is it painful, not only does it bleed, but it will become infected and directly affect the whole organism. And if that wound stays open too long, the whole organism will become corrupt because the wound is open. One of the things that we have a tendency to do as human beings is we have a tendency to bond around our wound instead of bonding around the healing of the wound. If you make a bond, if you enter a covenant with your wounding, you will infect and affect your being with death. But if you will bond around the healing, you will heal that wound, you will restore yourself to health, and as a result, you will restore yourself to the wealth of connection with the power of the pure presence, and you will rise above it. You may end up with a scar, but you won't live your life from a wound. You will live your life from wholeness and wellness. And you'll be able to look back over your life and say, yes, I was wounded. Yes, I was in pain. Yes, that hurt. But look, I rose above it. I healed it. And I took charge of my own life. If you have aptitude, but you don't have a good attitude, your altitude is only going to, well, I'll say it this way. Your altitude is determined by the level of your attitude. I look back over my life and I realize there are some things that have happened to me that were traumatizing, and I could live that trauma, and I have. There's some things in my life, there's some times in my life where I have chosen to live from that place of wounding. Oh, poor me. Man, if I'd have been raised just a little different, if I'd have just had somebody in my life that just loved me for who I was, if I had to finally decide to become the person I chose to be through believing that I was worthy of the love that I didn't feel like I received, and began to give that love to my own self. I began to receive the parenting that I needed from the perennial force and source from which all comes to be, from which everything manifests and emanates. I had to choose to allow Father, Mother, God to be my parenting source. To realize that I didn't need biological parents to support the Dharma that I had, that I didn't come from them, I came through them from the source of all things, and allowed that portion of me to heal, where I didn't have to live from need, and I didn't have to live from a wound, and I didn't have to live from a story that I had created around all of the wounding. I had to choose to rise above. The question is, will you choose an attitude that causes you to rise above? Because your altitude is going to be determined not just by what you know, but how you're knowing it. Your attitude is going to determine your altitude. So here we are. This is the prayer that goes along with today's devotion. Mind of the universe, I am willing to study, prepare, and apply myself to acquire knowledge. As you grant me knowledge, I humbly ask for a spirit of wisdom in how to use this knowledge. And so it is. Mind of the universe, I'm going to gather the data that helps me to navigate successfully this life. But I'm asking for the wisdom to know how to utilize the knowledge, because even knowledge will fail you. You know, knowledge of what we're experiencing in this world, knowledge is temporary. The wisdom of the universe is eternal. And this is why even the scripture says in the book of Proverbs, Christian Old Testament and the Hebrew Bible, in all you're getting, gather wisdom and understanding. While you're getting knowledge, while you're getting aptitude, while you're qualifying, in all of that getting, get understanding and wisdom. Know how to use the knowledge, and use it with humility, use it with love, use it with peace in mind, use it with a desire to help, desire to serve. And you will find yourself always rising above. There is nothing you cannot accomplish if you believe you can. And if you'll do it through unconditional love, if you'll do it through peaceful awareness, if you'll do it through the power of pure presence, you will find attitude, aptitude combined together. A great attitude with great aptitude will determine a high-flying altitude in your life. Isn't that some good news? I am fully awake. And so I love this affirmation. Let's do it again. My attitude, if you will repeat this after me, my attitude, not just my aptitude, determines my altitude. Repeat this if you will. I will protect my inner kingdom by maintaining my joy and by keeping my peace. No one can change my attitude but me. Say that again. No one can change my attitude but me. This week, I will fly above the storm of worry, and I will rise above the turbulence of anxiety. I choose to learn to let go. Here it is. I will raise the vibration of those around me by maintaining mine. I will raise the vibration of those around me by maintaining mine. I will keep my vibration high. I will keep my attitude in alignment with truth, in alignment with love, in alignment with joy, in alignment with peace, in everything. When it comes to my finances, my relationships, my job, my career, the things I have not done that I want to do, I will keep my vibration high and my attitude in alignment with loving awareness, with peace, with kindness, with joy, with happiness. I choose that because it's my right to choose it. Isn't that good news? All right, all right, all right. Pastor D.E., thank you so much for putting this down in book form for us, reminding us attitude and aptitude determine my altitude. Those combination, a great attitude and great aptitude, the combination determines great altitude. And this is how I can fly. I believe I can fly. I do actually. With attitude and aptitude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for continuing to expand this love. Here's the deal. We have great work to do in the world. Will you partner with us to do that? I know that sounds like he's going to receive an offering. Well, I sort of am. I'm going to ask you now to consider giving. Well, and that's not even coming up on the screen. Ain't that a blessing? I'm going to ask you to consider giving. I'll tell you what, the information for giving is going to show up on the screen as we exit out of here. Be a part of this. Partner with us. Partner with First Unity Spiritual Campus, not just One Love, but First Unity Spiritual Campus. Partner with us so that we can continue to do this. Make a financial investment in your spiritual food. If this is nurturing your soul and self, invest in it, or at least consider it. And I'm just going to say, thank you for doing that, because I surrender. Look, if this is not what I'm called to do in this way, I'll know it. If this is not what we're supposed to continue doing, we'll know it. And you know what? I can go out in the middle of nowhere and do this. I can go sit and meditate and just from person to person love on people. I don't have to do this for a living. If this is not what I'm called to, and if it's not supported, then I am willing to hear Spirit say, go in another direction. I believe this is what I'm called to, so I'll continue to do it. But I'm never going to beg. I'm never going to manipulate. That's not how I roll. The way I roll is doing exactly what I'm called to do. And if it needs to be done in a different way, I will do it. And I'll love it the whole step of the way. Because I don't need a lot of stuff. In fact, I don't need any stuff. All I want to do is fulfill my calling. Thank you for being a part of that and partnering with us in that process. All right, I hear the music getting started, so we're going to get up out of here. Now go and make it a great week, because you can. See you at 11:30 for New Thought Church. And it's Marley Sunday, so join us. You hear that Marley music playing? That's because it's Marley Sunday around here, First Unity Spiritual Campus. I love you. Peace.